Revelation is a book of the Bible that a lot of the people say they don't understand, or maybe they just don't want to understand. It doesn't apply to us today, they say. It's about the future. I don't care about that. Yet over 25% of the Bible is prophecies about the future. If God didn't want us to know what was going to happen in the future, he wouldn't have told us. And Revelation is the only book of the Bible that promises blessings to those who read it and follow it. Revelation chapter 1 verse 3 reads, "Blessed is he who reads and those who hear the words of this prophecy and keep those things which are written in it, for the time is near." God's time is not the same as human time, so near means something completely different to God than it does to us. Per Merriam-Webster, one of the definitions of revelation is something that is revealed by God to humans. We Christians mostly refer to the book of Revelation as just Revelation, but the actual title of the book is the Revelation of Jesus Christ. The other books of the Bible were transcribed by men and inspired by God. Per Revelation chapter 1 verse 1, God gave Jesus the revelation in the book of Revelation to give to men. This last book in the Bible is not only directed to the Asian churches for correction and reproof, and for us as well, it also reveals what will happen in the last times, at the second coming, and what will happen after. It also reveals what rewards we will receive for being faithful believers or overcomers, as Jesus calls us. There's a lot to dig out of the book of Revelation, but for this video, I'm going to concentrate on the first 3 chapters. In Revelation 1, John greets the 7 churches of Asia. Like Paul's epistle, this book was forwarded from church to church to be read to each congregation as per Jesus' instructions in Revelation 1 verse 11. Revelation 1:7 reminds me of Zechariah chapter 12 verses 10 through 14, where all of Israel looks on the one they have pierced, who is Jesus, and they will mourn. In Revelation chapter 1 verse 9, John gives us some background as to where he is and why he's there. In verse 10, John mentions that he was in the Spirit on the Lord's Day, which means that he was in prayer on a Sunday. He heard a voice behind him, which turns out to be Jesus, since he refers to himself as the Alpha Omega, or the first and the last. John knew that voice. He heard it for 3 years while Jesus walked on the earth. John quickly turned around so he could see Jesus, but he looked very different than he did when he was walking on the earth. In fact, his appearance was so different that it shocked John and he fainted. But Jesus laid his hand, which are the angels of the 7 churches, and the 7 lampstands, which are the churches. Jesus also instructs John to write down what he sees and hears and send it to the 7 churches. He starts the letters right away in Revelation 2. Not one to waste time, is he? The letters continue until the end of chapter 3. Jesus addresses each church in the first. Sorry about that. Got my page turned the wrong way. The first person. He could have told John, "Write that Jesus says to tell you," which would put the letters in the third person. Jesus also addresses himself by a different title for the letter of each church. He has John address each letter to the angel of that particular church. The angel of the churches, per various commentaries, are the pastors of the churches. Each letter to the churches has 3 parts. In the first part of each letter, Jesus tells that particular church about the good things they have done or believed to encourage them. Then, in the second part of the letter, Jesus tells them about what they have done wrong and what will happen if they don't correct that wrong. In the third and final part of each letter, Jesus gives a promise for believers who stay faithful. This is usually preceded by the phrase, "He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches." Sometimes this phrase is at the end of the letter. Either way, it is the hint that the reproof correction is finished. Now for the good news. For those who keep the faith and are overcomers, here are the promised rewards. He who overcomes shall be clothed in white garments, and I will not blot out his name from the book of life, but I will confess his name before my Father and before his angels. Because you have kept my command to persevere, I also will keep you from the hour of trial, which shall come upon the whole world to test those who dwell on the earth. Now this is in Revelation 4, and most pre-tribulation prophecy people believe that means that the church is off of this earth by that time, and the rapture has occurred. I will make him a pillar in the temple of my God, and he will go out no more. I will write on him the name of my God, the name of the city of my God, the New Jerusalem, which comes down out of heaven from my God, and I will write on him my new name. I will grant to sit with me on my throne, as I also overcame and sat down with my Father on his throne. I will give to eat from the tree of life, which is in the midst of paradise of God. Be faithful unto death, and I will give you the crown of life. He who overcomes shall not be hurt by the second death. I will give some of the hidden manna to eat, and I will give him a white stone, and on the stone a new name written which no one knows except him who receives it. To him I will give power over the nations. I will give him the morning star, and that's Jesus. He who overcomes will be clothed in white garments, and I will not blot out his name from the book of life, but I will confess his name before my Father and before his angels. I will make him a pillar in the temple of my God, and he shall go out no more. I will write on him the name of my God and the name of the city of my God, the New Jerusalem, which comes down out of heaven from God. And I will write on him my new name. And it looks like I repeated that twice, but I'm sorry. I thought that was important. I must have done it on accident, but maybe I didn't. I will grant to sit with me on my throne, as I also overcame and sat down with my Father on his throne. The I in each verse refers to Jesus. Aren't these promises wonderful? They give us something to look forward to, and they encourage us when we feel sad. I wonder what Jesus' new name is, don't you? How thrilling it will be when all these promises come true and we will be with Jesus eternally. Thanks as always for watching. See you next time.